What's up, you guys? Josh here with the GoKaioken channel. And I know it's been a while since I posted any RC related videos on YouTube. But as you guys know, RCs and wintertime don't really mix. You can do, like some of the crawlers, which I may do a couple of videos of that once we get some snow on the ground. But other than that, the plastic becomes brittle. And you can't really jump or do too many things with the RC cars in wintertime. Now, I've been sick. I don't know if you can hear that by my voice. It's another reason why I haven't been really posting too many videos, but I did want to go ahead and show you what my plan is for the XMaxx. And let me just cut right to the chase. I'm changing the color of the XMaxx from all blue, the anodized blue look and the blue body, to red. So that's what I've started, and I want to show you a couple of the parts that you might need. I'll show you how to replace a couple of those parts. Over the next couple of days, I'll be getting the shocks and some other things to replace over to the red one, and I'll show those, and I'll combine it all into this same video. But of course, the easiest thing to change, probably one of the most expensive things, surprisingly not the most expensive swap, but the body. Forgive the mess too, by the way. Again, it's holidays, you got holiday decorations and Thanksgiving, Christmas, and stuff that people give you, and yeah, I have not been able to organize. But as you guys see the blue XMaxx body over there, I've got the red one coming in the mail. That one's easy. You just take that off, put the new one on. I already have the roll cage right there for it. So you guys can probably see the roll cage on that one. So I already have the roll cage ready to be put on the new body. And then when that comes on, that'll be an easy thing. So it comes with just the body itself. Some other things you're gonna need for the body. You got the front and rear mounts. So that's Traxxas part 7715. You're gonna need the inner bracket, inner support, whatever it's called, 7713. And then for the rear, right above the tailgate, or on the tailgate, you're gonna need this part, 7712. So that's all for the body. And then as far as things around the truck that you'll need to swap over if you're intending to change the overall color scheme, is your wheel nuts, right? So these are all blue, and I bought red ones, so 7758R. I can go ahead and put these on today because I also bought these. I'm not sure what they're called, but 7768R, it's what the wheel nut actually screws onto, what holds the wheel on. So you need that, you need the wheel nuts, and then these shocks all the way around is actually what is the most expensive. For two of them, I think it was like $68 or somewhere around there, and you need two pairs of two to do all four sides. That came out to $130 something, $140 something versus the bodies, $99. So other than that, I've got a couple upgrades, like the cush gear drive cover, and I've got the upgraded steering horn and steering link. Everything else is plastic. Everything else has been converted back to plastic. I know I did that video of the whole steering upgrade. Bad idea. Too many metal parts. Whenever you hit something and the wheel shakes and gives, with this being metal, the servo saver being metal, all of that, every time I would have a bad crash, that energy would transfer to the servo, and that servo is over $100, and replacing that every time, or buying the gears to replace the inside, which is an even more tedious job, is just not worth it. So my recommendation, get the upgraded servo horn, and steering link. From there out, leave it plastic, because if you have a bad wreck, this is really, really easy to replace. I think it's like $9 for the pair. So anyways, let me show you how I transfer this over, because it's a little more in depth than you might initially think. So let me get the camera set up and I'll show you that. All right, so we're zoomed in here. Of course, the first thing you do is take the wheel nut and the wheel off. Then you're gonna wanna take this little metal clip here, and you can use needle nose and your fingers to just pry one side off. Just be careful because this does like to spring off and you might lose it, or you don't want to hit your eye with it. So take that off, set it aside. Remove this part here, just pulls right off. Yeah, see that? This is what your wheel actually surrounds whenever it gets bolted on. Now from here, this part actually needs to go out that way, but you can't push it because of these pieces. I've got the hinge pins, bolts with the nuts on the other side. You may just have regular pins where you would unscrew the retaining screws and then remove the pin. In my case, I need an Allen key and this to get this off. If you do have a desire to upgrade your A-arms, one of the issues that people run into if they upgrade to the RPM A-arms is because that plastic is a little more flexible, they end up losing the pins. And so what people do is upgrade to these hinge pin bolts. Now, if you're interested in doing that, be sure to check out my video. I'll go ahead and link it in the description of this one, where I go through in depth of upgrading the A-arms and installing the hinge pins. I only mention that because when you learn that you need to drill into these A-arms a specific size, it may be daunting and you may not want to upgrade. I'll say the RPM A-arms was by far the best upgrade that I've done with the XMaxx, just because the stock ones break so easily. I have not, actually, I've only broken one RPM A-arm, and that was really my fault. So it looks like we can remove this without removing that steering link. So the bottom one was the right choice. As you guys can see, this ends up coming out, and then we just push this out that way. So let me just do that again so you guys see. This goes out that way. This bearing will stay in place. The back bearing will come out with that part. So next up, we're gonna remove this bearing. Okay, and then you need to, there's a pin. It's a little hard to see, especially if you've been running your XMaxx for a while. There might be a little grease there. There's a pin that we need to use something to push through. Just like that. And then you can remove that. Let's grab the red one. And the pin goes in through this section. So just line that up. Grab your pin, push that back through, and the bearing actually holds that pin in place. So replace your bearing. It's gonna go on real smooth because this is a brand new part. We're gonna lift this up. We're gonna go in through the hub carrier first. Just push that all the way through, make sure that that's seated right, and then put the drive shaft into the cup. Just like that. And again, make sure that's pushed all the way through. Now we can set this back down and put our hinge pin back on. Put our spacer, our nut, okay. Now these front ones, just like with my hinge pin video, you can't really tighten them all the way down. Whenever you get that screwed on, the backs you can screw all the way on, the fronts, just make sure you double check that. make sure that that's nice and smooth going up and down. There we go. So make sure that's clicked all the way this way. Put that back on. And now this will fit on. Remember when I said that that would spring off if you're not careful? Now I gotta go find it. All right, I found it. All right, make sure we get this on properly this time. There we go. All right, so that's how you do that part. And again, the wheel nuts, that's an easy swap from the blue to the red. All right, you guys, the transformation continues. Just got the shocks in the mail today. I'm gonna show you guys how to install those. So let me get this angled right. Here's the shocks, 7761R. Comes 2 in a pack, so you need 2 packs. Let's get all 4. And this actually comes with the shock fluid that you actually need. But this is 30K weight. I think what's in there is 50K. Let me double check. Yeah, I ended up getting 50K weight fluid. Take this body off. And I'll show you how to remove the shocks. Let's go ahead and grab our 2mm and remove this top screw where the shock is mounted on. And again, I'm just going to show you one because all 4 are the same. So once you get the top screw out, just push in from the back, and you can grab that pin. Okay. Aim this. Let me adjust this real quick. In case you didn't see, we just took the screw out of the top and took the pin out there. Got a screw down here. Take this one out. You're gonna need something to wedge into that hole to push that pin out. There we go. Something like this. And then that pin comes out. Then you can slide this out like that. Lift this up. And now that has been removed. To reinstall, it's just the reverse of that, so I'm not going to show that part. I'm going to show you how to open this up and move the spring from this to the new one. So let me go ahead and get the XMaxx moved out of the way. All right, so here's our old shock. We're going to use our 2mm to remove this screw where the retaining clip is. We can compress this spring. Basically, we're going to grab the retaining clip and the spring and hold the base so that it separates. Now that it's separated like that, pull the spring back, and then there's a little slot here where that clip can be removed. There we go. Now we can take this spring off and install it in our new one. The only thing you need is the spring from the old shock. You can see it's got the new clip, it's got everything. The screw, the retainer clip. All you need to do is install the fluid and install the spring. So let's move this aside, and we're gonna go ahead and take the retaining clip off of this one. Now I am installing thicker shock fluid, and that's just because I like to jump the XMaxx, and that definitely helps with the landings. So this fluid plus these stiffer springs help with the landings from those jumps. You can absolutely put the stock stuff back in there if you wanted to, but I'm gonna go with this. All right, so just quick recap on the shocks. Basically, we just took all of the retaining clips and springs off of the old blue ones. We went ahead and set them up just like this. We took the caps and the retaining clips off of the new ones. You can see the blue gasket on each of the new caps. And we put 50K weight shock fluid in there. Same as I used before, but it's all new fluid. I didn't reuse the old shock fluid. And what I'm doing here is I've got the spring set up and shock fluid in there with the tops open. After I've moved the shaft up and down to get as much air bubbles out as possible, we just let that sit for a while and let any remaining air bubbles come out. We've got the shafts kind of halfway pushed in. That way what we can do here is when most of the air bubbles are out, top it off and then extend those shafts all the way out right after putting the caps on. That will make sure that we have the max amount of fluid, and the bleeder valve on each of these caps should leak a little bit of fluid out. That's what we want. And after that, I'll show you guys putting it back on the vehicle. All right, so I wanted to walk you through the last one of getting these shocks put back on the right way. So the previous video, or the previous clip, I had the 4 shocks sitting there, letting the air come out. Here's what I do in order to get everything put back together. So, and just remove the shock from the spring, and I compress the shock just about all the way. That fluid is going to come all the way up to the top. Our gasket is sitting right inside there. When we put this on and screw this down, it's going to introduce just a little bit of air. That's okay, because that's what the bleeder valve is for, right on the side there. So as we tighten it down, this is going to seal off that fluid. So make sure whenever you go to do your first couple turns, there's no resistance, because that means you're cross threading. So just kind of, if you feel that, back it off a little bit so you kind of feel it drop into place, and then it should be really, really smooth screwing that on. Definitely don't force it. As far as how tight to screw this down, I just grip the bottom and the top and just tighten it. And then I'll use the pin that actually holds it in place, insert it into the top pivot ball, and then just grab that and give it one good, not even a 1/16th of a turn, just a little bit with that extra leverage, and that should be fine. Now, at this point, you're going to want to go ahead and set how much preload you want on the spring. For the fronts, I keep it pretty light, because I do like it to be a little bit lower to the ground. For the 2 rears, I keep it with a little bit more preload. That's because if I go over jumps and such, the rear is usually what smacks down onto the ground more than anything. So I'll just match this up to pretty close to what I did the other one. And then before I actually go on the jumps, I'll double check the preload on all 4 of them. So go ahead and just move this shock up and down a couple times, and then we'll grab our spring, put that on first, make sure that it's seated well on this preload screw. Compress the spring with your hands, and then grab that clip, make sure that that lines up with where it's going to be screwed in, just like that. Release the spring, make sure it's seated inside that retaining clip. Then you put the screw back on. Now all 4 shocks have been converted to this red color from the old blue. Putting it back on the truck is the reverse of taking it off. So if you have any questions at all, just leave me a comment down below. Otherwise, in the next clip, that will be when the new red XMaxx body comes in, and that will complete the color conversion. All right, you guys, quick correction on what I had mentioned about what you need to buy if you're getting a new body like this one. If you order the Traxxas part 7711R, it looks like you do not have to order all of the individual bits as if you were buying the body by itself, because if you purchase that for that $99, looks like actually a couple things. So I had actually also ordered this here, which is 7710 body reinforcement set. So I ordered that, the tailgate protector, the inside body support, and then the mounting system. But as you can see, it actually comes with the body reinforcements already installed and all of the brackets already on there. So that's awesome. I wish I would have known that before purchasing all of the extra stuff, but at least now, if I wanted to, because they do sell, like, for example, the clear body by itself, if I wanted to paint my own body, I still have all of the stuff. And that, of course, came with everything already installed. So that's good. It's a good thing for me. But anyways, the only thing I'll need to do then is install the roll cage, and then the conversion will be completed. I'll show you guys that in just a second. All right, you guys, there it is. The final piece. Got the red body, now with the red shocks and the red screws, and what those screws go onto for the wheels. I think it looks good. Looks really good. The conversion is complete. Here's the old body down there. All right, let me know what you guys think. At least now I have all of the parts needed if I ever wanted to switch back and forth. But honestly, I'm gonna rock the red for a while. I don't know if I'll ever switch back to the blue, but anyways, thanks again for watching. Leave a like, comment down below. Anything else I should do with this? Kind of at a point now where it's pretty much done and I just drive it to enjoy it. Any other upgrades you guys think I should do? All right, subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.